Morning. Well, it's a lovely sunny morning, and unfortunately the Three Peaks trip has had to be postponed. So today I'm doing a little adventure on my own, something a bit different. We're actually doing the Gritstone Trail, starting from Disley Station and going down to Kidsgrove. There it is, look, this is the official start. It's 35 miles long, goes through Lyme Park. We're doing half of it today. There's the elevation profile, so it's quite hilly. Doing it over 2 days. So yeah, let's make a start. So we're at the station now, Disley Station. Quite a steep start. The Gritstone Trail is apparently very well signposted. It's marked by these markers here. A footprint with a G on it and a yellow arrow. Look, it's even got on that post there. So pretty sure it's up that way. Oh, hand on the gate. I really don't want to get lost on this one. There's pretty layers of it. Yep, I wouldn't do this walk on a Friday because it's obviously bin day. That was interesting. I had a bin lorry in front of me that I eventually managed to walk past. Then there's one coming the other way. So I ducked into a turning to let him pass. But no, he wanted to go down the turning. So got out of his way. Took him about 5 minutes to get the angle right for the turning. In the meantime, the other one had caught me up. So I had to climb onto the verge. So I'm hoping this is it. No more bin lorries. It's a cracking day though. I think that stone building on the horizon is what they call the Cage, which is a hunting tower for Lyme Park. We're very close to Lyme Park. That's the first major site we go through. Yeah, the Gritstone Grind runs through the best of the Cheshire countryside for 35 miles from Disley Station to Kidsgrove. It recommended on that board that you walk it over 3 days, but I'm going to be doing it over 2. And I'm going to try for a bucket list item, solo wild camp. I've got all my stuff with me, so yep, I'm lugging a full pack and I'm going to wild camp somewhere. Already quite nervous about that, so we'll see how it goes. There's our sign. There's a better view of the tower. I have actually done this trail before in reverse. It's been turned into an ultra, like most of the trails, called the Gritstone Grind, organised by Beyond Marathon Events, and that starts from Kidsgrove and comes back up to Disley. And you do the 35 miles in 1 day. I did it, but I was last in just over the time, came back in the dark, so it'd be nice to actually get to appreciate the lovely views this time and take a bit more time over it, but be interesting to see how much of the route I remember. I do remember though the views were spectacular, and it's a lovely day today, so I should get some pretty good views today. Feels like we're heading into the park proper now. I believe the park's open. There is an alternative route if the park's shut, but I don't see why it wouldn't be open today, so I'll try the main route anyway, that I think goes right by the main house. Not sure, I think it does. Lovely old metalled sign there, and a lovely old wooden sign behind it, but that's not for us because we're going that way. Unsafe structure. Looks like it's not safe, but there is a way around, so I think people have gone over, but I might take the alternative. Lovely little bridge though, but yeah, it does look a bit crumbly, doesn't it? Probably best not to go over it. There's an alternative route sign posted there, but I think as if the park's closed. But the main route goes straight on, which I'll do because I want to do the main route and I want to see the hall. Plus, I think there are going to be toilets there, and I do need a wee. We're officially entering Lyme Park. That building that we saw earlier, I think it's actually called the Cage, but we don't actually go up to it. But what a view! What a view! Right over Manchester. Actually, there's better views than a big conglomeration like that, but no, not conglomeration, conurbation, that's the word. Manchester and Stockport conurbation over there. You can see a massive wind farm over there as well, and the Pennines beyond. See the Union Jack is flying at half mast at the tower as a mark of respect for the Queen, who sadly passed away last week. That's got to be the house. We will follow in this road for a while. The estate of Lyme Park was granted to Sir Thomas Daniers in 1346 and passed to the Lees of Lyme by marriage in 1388. It remained in the possession of the Lee family until 1946, when they gave it to the National Trust. The house dates from the latter part of the 16th century, with modifications being made to it in the 1720s. Lyme Hall is the largest state home in Cheshire, and it certainly looks very grand. Heron over there, I think. Yep. I just went to an old yard that's been done up, a bit like a tourist attraction. There's a cafe there, but there are toilets. There's the main car park for the house. There's National Trust building. There's another bin lorry. I think they're haunting me today and they're going to follow me all the way to Kidsgrove. So we're leaving the actual park bit of the park and head off into the wild bit of the park. No worries on that score. Walking through nice slow wood now, slowly making our way up to the bowstones, but I think there's a little bit of a climb from here on in, but it's, as you can see, it's nice peaceful woodland, still sunny, a few more clouds around, hopefully it'll stay dry. Quite a climb up there, I'm sure. This is where I came on the Bullock Smithy, because the checkpoint was near the bowstone, so it would have been. Oh, this is blooming steep. I remember this from the Bullock Smithy, but at least then I didn't have all this weight on my back. You can see from my shadow Got my tent, a big rucksack, all the camping gear, and thought that was a supermarket trolley for a minute. I think it's a cattle feeding trough. Still a good view. Manchester and the Pennines beyond. Must admit I'm more interested in looking at the Pennines than Manchester. But I suppose it's got its own charm from up here. Lovely. A ladder style. I've got to climb it. Go around it. Got to go over it. See that pointy little peak over there? That's Shutlingslow. And from this angle it's easy to see why people call it the Matterhorn of Cheshire. These are the bowstones. 2 shafts of late Saxon crosses, which are probably landmarks or boundary stones of an ancient kingdom. The crossheads, which interlace the courtyard of Lyme Hall, are likely to be from these. There's a legend associated with Robin Hood as well. It said he used the bowstones to string his arrows. I personally don't think that's probably true, but it's nice to think it might be. That way then, left. Heading out onto the open moors by the looks of it. The views are really opening up. Look at those views. These signs seem to be little memorials. They've all got a little plaque to remember somebody who died. Quite a nice touch. This is Spons Hill, and there's the trig there. We don't actually go up to it. I suppose you could do if you wanted to, but I'm not that bothered, to be honest. So we'll just keep on following the track up this way. Don't know if you can hear me, but this is a viewfinder put here in 1975. You can see, it tells you what you can see. There's a big satellite dish in the distance that's actually Joshua back. I thought it might be. Right in the distance there is Wales, the Gritstone Hills of Wales. And then over that way there's a long line in Shropshire. And there, I think, is the mask of Sutton Common, where we're actually headed to today. That's Kinder in the background, and that little lump on the end, that's Mam Tor. What am I thinking of potted shrimps? Now we're not actually following that track up there, we have to leave it and go somewhere over here. And I can see a gate, a kissing gate, so I think that's it. See White Loudsea in the distance. That's a good guide because we're heading there. But it's easy to just follow that track and get sucked into it. Ah, look at that. There's a line of helpful posts here, marked with the Gritstone Ray symbol, that keep us on the right way through this field. Because it could be a bit tricky, especially if the cloud's down. steep little drop down here and a load of sheep. Hello sheep, really no harm. Please put your dog on its lead. Flightless birds on path ahead. Emus? Ostriches? Maybe that's a flightless bird. White Nancy's getting closer. Oh look, lovely pack horse bridge. I've seen this on people's videos, but it's nice to actually see it in the stone, as it were. I think we're starting our final climb up to the ridge of Carriage, where White Nancy sits. I think we're starting our final climb now, up to the ridge of Carriage, where we'll find White Nancy. Finally! Seems to have taken an age to get there. Nearly missed it. There's a star there onto the road. To be honest, if I was doing this again, I think I'd just stay on the road. It's literally just been like a couple of 100 yards through fields. It's taken a lot longer. Nice little flagstone path. Oh, we're dropping back down to sea level before we've got that steep old climb. I could see Bollington stretched out below me with what looked like the remains of a mill right in the middle. It's steep, but then that's what I expected. This is it then. The last steep pull up to White Nancy. There she is, White Nancy. White Nancy was built to commemorate the victory of the Battle of Waterloo. I don't think it was always painted white. I think there's a door you could actually go in. It's like a room with a table. But obviously now it's been brick sealed up. But it's quite bright, so I think she must be regularly painted. And there's some debate whether Nancy was the name of the chap who built its daughter, or the lead horse who pulled it up here, which must have been quite a feat for any horse. I'm following the ridge of Carriage at the moment, but I know I don't want to go right along to the Tegg. There's a point where I have to cut steeply down and pick up the lower path, so I'm going to keep an eye out for that. This is where the Gritstone Trail leaves the main ridge and starts dropping down. It's quite clearly signposted, but if you're not looking for it, if you're sort of focused, you could miss it. Good, it's a less steep way. Seem to have come down the wrong path. I missed those markers. I came along a higher path there and had to drop down the field. So if you get to a gate and it's just got a blue bridleway sign and no Gritstone Trail arrow, then just turn left and follow the field boundary down to the track. Still very scenic. These wall stars come with a handrail. It's very posh. The route was a bit confusing after this. There was a Gritstone Trail marker leading over another stile on the right, but I couldn't see where to go after this. A couple of other walkers appeared, also puzzled, so we decided to follow the track we'd just picked up, which luckily turned out to be the right way. So just ignore that last stile with the marker on it on your right. These guys are doing the Gritstone Trail too, today and tomorrow, over 2 days. I didn't think it was that popular. That has got to be Tegg's nose ahead. It looks suitably ravaged by quarrying, and that behind is a mast on Sutton Common where I'm headed to before I stop for the night. And over there is Macclesfield. I just hope the cafe's open at Tegg's nose because I could really do with a coffee. Slice of cake wouldn't go amiss either. The car park at Tegg's Nose is a great vantage point. You can see right over the Cheshire hills, including the prominent peak of Shutlingslow. See Shutlingslow again from here, from a different angle. There's a reservoir, which is where we're going eventually. Just heading up to the summit of Tegg's Nose after a much needed stop, but it's dropped a bit chilly now, so I'm just hoping it's not going to be too cold tonight. I've got my fleece, but I've not got my bed socks. I'm a bit nervous about the wild camping, to be honest. It's not something I've done before on my own. I think I'm a lot more nervous about getting moved on, so I'll just have to see how it goes. There's a patch of woodland I'm headed for, which I'm hoping to make by tonight. So here's hoping that everything will work out. Quarrying started here in the 1500s. For over 500 years, the gritstone rock's been hammered, hacked and chiselled in vast quantities. It can't have been easy work. Many quarrymen were dead before the age of 50. A hard life. These are examples of the machinery which would have been used in the quarrying. This machine in front of us at the red wheel was the old rock crusher. That swing saw could only cut 2 inches of rock in something like 6 hours because the rock here was so hard, but because of that it was highly prized. This is a view from Tegg's Nose. You can see the mast at Sutton Common, and that's where we're headed to, and we'll drop down to the woods and look for somewhere to stop. Doesn't look so far away now, thank goodness. How am I supposed to get through that? Ta-da! so begins the steep descent. I can see the path going all the way down these steps, all the way down there. Nice one. Steps are not only narrow and steep, they also go through a gorse bush. More really steep steps. Not easy when you've got little legs. Wow, I was up there a little while ago. Here we are again, the Gritstone Trail, Teggs nose to Timbersbrook. This is the second recommended day now. See, we're at Teggs nose there. We're heading to Sutton Bank, which is there, well, Sutton Common. We're going to come down Winkle Min, love that name, and possibly to these woodlands. So let's get a move on. Teggs nose. Teggs nose is a special place really, and you can see the marks of the quarrying. It probably have been bigger at one time, but it's still pretty impressive. Still a lovely setting. Up here, I must say I'm really impressed with the signage on this trail. It's only been a couple of places that's been confusing, but most of it has been spot on. Last view of Teggs nose, because we're steadily climbing, I think, towards Croker Hill and Sutton Common, but it's still a little way. I'm a bit nervous about losing the daylight. Getting closer. I'm worried about losing the light before I find somewhere to camp. This is very steep, but then I expected it to be. It does mean I'm walking a lot slower. See, back to Teggs nose. That's different. A little kissing gate thing. Through one. Squeeze between. Ooh. Easy with all this clobber. And the other. Of course, it doesn't spring back on its own. Yeah, I think that's a bit overkill, really. Certainly a steep pull up here. Still a long way away. I'm busting her good for the last climb, and it's just not getting any bloody closer. I still just see it peeping over the horizon. God. For a climb. Nearly reached the blooming thing. Oh, big last minute's behind me. I feel like I've been chasing it all day. Great cows. I hope they're friendly. This road is Min End Road, I think. Min End Road. And it's named because it's going over the delightfully named Winkleman, which I think is a hill. It's getting quite dark now. If I see a suitable place, I might stop earlier than the woods. I don't know. Don't know how overlooked it is. It's getting quite dark now. It doesn't look like it's on here, but it actually is. So I am going to have to find somewhere. I don't think I'm going to make it to the woods. There's still some time away. But just down here, it looks like the fence disappears and it opens up. So I might be able to just duck off this road a bit and find somewhere. Not the most discreet pitch in the world. There's the road right just there. I've just come off it a little way, but I've not seen anything come along it. Let's not say something will, but fingers crossed, because it's too late to go any further down now. Looking down onto a distant town. All those lights. So I'm pitched up. I'm in the tent. Not the most discreet of camps. A car did go by on the road, but luckily it didn't stop. So I'm just got my lovely meal soaking. What is it? It is chili non carne. Nice. It smells a bit. And I've got a brew on as well. And then I think I'll just turn in and get this light out, because even if a car goes on the road, I think if I don't have my head torch on, it won't actually see me, even with its headlights on. Here's hoping anyway. It's a bit chilly. Hoping when I get in my sleeping bag I'll warm up a bit. Else it could be quite a long, chilly night.